Hi, welcome to Enter the Bunker, where we launch you into thriving. Each week we talk about a different virtue that can be used as a building brick to build your own personal bunkers. We share personal stories, as well as tips and tricks to help you thrive instead of survive. So sit down, relax, and enter the bunker.
Hello and welcome to Enter the Bunker for part 2 of this week's building brick, which is purity. My name's Kelly.
And I'm Jonathan.
And we're going to go over how to pursue purity. 3 ways.
I'm going to go after it.
I'll say each one and then we'll talk about each one.
Here we go.
All right. 1, live transparently. 2, make your actions and words align. No potty mouth. And 3, love others and be humble.
Very good.
That's my favorite one, I think. We'll talk about them. Find out.
Okay.
All right. Number 1, live transparently. Show people who you are without hiding. By seeking to be pure, you should be honest and transparent about how you want to live your life. Don't let others sway your belief system, and don't get sucked into temptation by material items if they don't serve your ultimate goals, aka peer pressure in high school.
How you interpreted that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you? I don't know. Maybe not. I feel like I'm a pretty, I know what I want nowadays, and if I depends on, if I really don't want to do something, I won't do it. There's no convincing me.
So when your friends tell you they just got this new accessory for their hair or something like that, and they're just like, you just got to get it, Kelly. It's so awesome. You have to have it.
Yeah.
Does that get you
Not
thinking,
in the slightest.
I'd really like to?
Maybe if I'd be like, yeah, I want to try yours sometime, and then we'd hang out in a year and I'd try it and then maybe like it and maybe get it. But there'd be no rush on it.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. It wouldn't change. I'd be like, no, I love my curling iron. I've had it since I was 13 and it's my favorite thing. And it just broke. What I'm talking about actually just broke last year and I was so heartbroken.
Right.
Anyways.
Do you feel that you live transparently? You feel like people who know you know you, or that you feel like you put on a front?
I definitely think people who know me know me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's just it. That's living purely.
Yeah.
And that's all there is really to it. And for a lot of people, in terms of living transparently, that is something that's difficult for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they struggle with it because truth is when you look at the way that society is and everything, we're judged by how we look, and we're judged by where we work, and we're judged by
everything,
the car you drive, and all this kind of stuff, right? So, for a lot of people, those are the things that matter.
Yeah.
Right. And so then they end up not being transparent about their real situation,
with their real self,
right?
and
everything.
everything.
You've heard of some people who are they're in the finance, they might be looking to get into finance or something, and they got this fancy car, but they're living in a box.
Yeah.
Because it took everything to put up that appearance that they're doing good.
Yeah.
But they're not, right? And so that is where you are so far from being transparent, and you're so out of sync with who you really are.
Yeah.
You're just not going to be happy.
No.
And the people
it's more
around
about what
you,
people see.
Yeah, and you're putting on appearances.
Yeah.
Is basically what this is about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be real about who you are, and you got to be transparent about it. And so the more you do that in practice by just being honest, there's that building brick.
Yeah.
Then the more you're going to be able to have that purity that you need, that you're pursuing. You want to build it up, and as a process, just being transparent about everything is all it takes.
Be you.
I make it sound so easy, but this is difficult.
It is.
Yeah.
I know, because you got me thinking, I don't love my car, and I've felt embarrassed by it, but at the same time, I have a nice house. So I'm transparent about it. It's not like I hide where I go because of it. It does make me feel maybe crappy sometimes, but I guess I still am pure about it because I still live my life like normal,
right?
Because of it. Okay, interesting. Okay, number 2. Make your actions and words aligned. It is very true to say you believe in something. It can be very difficult to live a life and act as if that is true. When you show people who you are in a word and action, you are showing yourself as pure. When you say one thing and act another, you are a hypocrite. That's a big word. Not a big word, obviously, but like that's a deep word, I feel like.
Right.
Yeah, a hypocrite. Like if somebody called me that, I'd be like, I'd be so sad. Unless I actually was, and then I'd probably own up to it. But
Well, yeah, it's not often you really.
sometimes you do, you by mistake, you might be a hypocrite.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could. Yeah, I mean, if somebody calls you out on it, and
Yeah.
I can't think of a time when that's actually happened to me, but I'm trying to think of a time.
I feel like it has, but I can't think of anything specific for me.
Yeah. So but like you just said, it's very easy to say you believe in something,
Yeah.
but it's very difficult to live and act that way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So especially if you have a strong belief about the way things should be,
Yeah.
or the way that you live, and if you have others that don't agree with that, then you end up then really are you being a hypocrite by not aligning your actions with your words, right?
Right.
So there's lots of examples of how that people can pull from their own personal lives about how this applies.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it is important that your actions, like I often say, you hear me say this all the time, I say what I mean and I mean what I say, right?
Yeah.
And that's what this is, right? And so in order to have like real purity, you have to have that kind of integrity when it comes to your words and when it comes to your actions. And so if you don't, that's where you lose purity. It just dirties your soul.
Yeah.
And you get those dirty feet coming into your mind, right?
Yeah.
So really, it's about, you really have to just make sure that you're in alignment all the time and say what you mean and mean what you say.
Yeah. And
Right.
the more you practice it the positive way, like you're saying,
Yeah.
the more it's going to happen. And the more you mess up and or are a hypocrite, the more you're going to be that. So you can go one way or the other.
Yeah, and it's a matter of being able to catch yourself. Like,
Yes.
if you are being a hypocrite, then it almost, like for me, for example,
Yeah.
I've known times in the last year where I'm just, it's like I had a certain, like I felt strongly about something,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I got to a point where I was like, you know what, I just can't do this anymore. I got to stop and I got to act on what I believe.
Yep.
And I started doing that.
Yeah.
And day to day, it's hard.
Yeah.
Like it's not comfortable. Like sometimes actually it's gotten more comfortable.
It's gotten easier.
Yeah. And as it goes on, and that's just what you have to do.
Yeah.
And the more I do it, the more I do feel a sense of, not just a sense of integrity,
Yeah.
but I feel like more pride.
More pride.
Like I feel like I'm actually living
Makes
my
you feel
life
good?
correctly,
Yeah.
rather than the way somebody else wants me to. Right. And
Yeah.
as soon as you start to do things because you think it's what others want, then that's a manipulation, right? And that's controlling you. And when that's the situation, you can never feel like, you can never experience purity,
Right.
because you're constantly having to jump through hoops. It's kind of like Dance Monkey, and the human spirit doesn't respond well to Dance Monkey.
No. That is the song. Okay. Good. And number 3 was love others and be humble. Everyone is on their own path, but everyone is human and deserves love and respect. Not everyone will choose to live the way you do or believe in what you do, but that doesn't give you the right to think you are better or look down on people who made different choices and decisions.
So that's about humility.
Yeah.
So, which is another building book.
Yep. I think we've done in the past.
Yeah, we've
Yep.
done humility, but yeah, it's when it comes to love and deserve, like everyone deserves love and respect. It's basically, again, you get what you give, right?
Yeah.
And so even though almost, I know this might sound condescending, but it's not. Essentially, you almost need to see that, like, sometimes when you look at somebody who's in a certain situation, you might almost think of them kind of like at a different place in terms of their development. So you might think of like how a child who's 7 years old is only able to do so many things, right? Whereas someone who's like 15 or 20 is going to be far more capable of doing certain things, right? So sometimes you see someone who's in a certain state or in a certain place in their life, you don't have to necessarily look down on them, because they're just at a different point in their journey to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And some people are further than you. There's always going to be someone further than you. So it's important to have that perspective in terms of understanding that everybody's on the journey.
Yeah.
We're all at different places in it. And as long as we can have some perspective with that, then you show loving respect and you nurture them on that journey. Right. Rather than saying like, oh, well, you suck because you're there, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes it's a challenge because it's easier to say, well, I'm better than you. Right. That's easier.
It is.
That's why so many people do it.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people do it because it's easy.
Yeah.
Right. But the hard thing to do is to keep your perspective and actually want to help that person to go further and to help them along. And sometimes, you know what? If the choice is they don't want to go further, you got to respect that too.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And you gotta respect the choice.
The choice of theirs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you might want them to go far, but they might not want to go. And then what are you doing? You're wasting your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That one was definitely by far my favorite because I just think it was self-explanatory in the whole love others and be humble. Just do something nice for someone and smile. Love them.
And that's how we develop purity.
That is. And that was part 2 for purity. Thank you so much for joining us. Join us next week for flexibility, and we'll see how flexible we are.
See you then.
Thank you for listening to Enter the Bunker. Make sure to follow us on Instagram where you can share your story and also look at behind the scenes of how we make our podcast. You can watch the video version of this podcast on YouTube by simply searching Enter the Bunker. Tune in next time as we launch into thriving.